Were you in a relationship with a toxic person and they just wouldn't leave? Maybe you thought, hey, let's break up, good breakup, like it's totally fine. And all of a sudden they're always there. Or maybe you're telling them, hey, I want a divorce. I want to get away from you because of how you're acting. And they don't do anything. They don't try. They don't sign the papers. They don't leave the house, anything like that. Did you ever be with a narcissist or a toxic person that just wouldn't leave? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do it on all the different platforms out there. So if you don't follow already, look us up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. You never know when we might have some lives going on one of those platforms under Raw Motivations. Maybe you're driving and you don't want to watch the video, you can listen to it on the podcast, on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Look us up under Raw Motivations. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you probably need people around you to support you. That's why we've created a community called the NARC app community to help people as they continue moving forward. It stands for NARC, which is Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. It's the NARC app. You can go to narcapp.com to be able to see a little bit more information, but join us on there for courses, for challenges, for weekly lives with homework that people use to increase their growth and their healing process, and also monthly Zoom calls that we get together and coach with people all across the globe to bring in different coaches, therapists to help increase and move us forward in that growth process. So check that out at narcapp.com. If you want to talk to me sometime one-on-one or work together coaching to try to get out of the trauma bond, to be able to break free, rewire your mindset to deal with getting through the rumination phase and set up good, healthy boundaries, I'd love to talk to you. And I'd love to help give clarity for the confusion and the crazy making that you've gone through. Just go to rawmotivations.com, click on one-on-ones. Would love to interact with you there. One of the last things I wanted to share with you real quick before we dive in is a lot of times I talk about journaling and getting to the truth. Well, we released a journal. It's actually up on Amazon now called From Fantasy to Reality. And it's got over 100 prompts inside to start having you think and question what you've been through to make sure you're actually viewing it in reality and not fantasy. Well, if you've been with a narcissist and you've tried to get away from that relationship, it might have been a struggle. Oftentimes when we talk about narcissists, we talk about how they're known to discard and leave you and just ghost and like walk away. But what happens when they don't? What happens when you're stuck with them and you're not really sure what to do? Because in that situation, oftentimes the narcissist is the one looking at you and telling you, hey, I hate this. You're an awful person. You're abusive. You're the one that's cheating on me. You're the one that's yelling at me. You're the one that's not there for the kids. You're the one that's never cleaning, doing anything, providing, whatever it might be. They're a lot of times throwing it back in your face of saying how awful and how much they hate the relationship, but they don't leave. Oftentimes they'll push you down. They'll degrade you. And you'll be wondering, why in the world, if it's so awful, why won't they leave? Maybe they get to the place where they start cheating on you. They blame you. They say it's your fault because I'm unhappy, because my needs aren't met, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But they just don't up and leave. Has that ever been a question that's popped up for you of like, why won't they just leave me alone? Why won't they break up, get out, divorce, get out of the relationship? Well, I want to talk to you about 3 things today. And it has to do with the term chaos. If you've seen in any other videos or thoughts or ideas, a lot of times we know narcissists produce chaos. There's a lot of chaos that comes around the narcissist. And a lot of times people are like, if it's so awful and it's so bad and it's so chaotic with everything that's happening, why wouldn't they just leave? Well, I've got 3 things that I want to tell you about today, okay? First one is narcissists create chaos. They bring chaos into the relationship and leverage it as a way to have power and control over you. The narcissist will bring chaos in and say, hey, this is my place. This is what I want to do. This is everything, and you're supposed to fall subservient to me. And if you don't fit in that role, I'm going to attack you. I'm going to view it as disrespect. I'm going to view you as the enemy, because I want control and power over you. Oftentimes, narcissists will use chaos as triggers and ways to get you to react to show dominance of who's actually weak and who's reactive. A lot of times, they'll pull in reactive abuse by poking you and prodding you and getting you to the place where you're going to just lash out and respond. And then they can look at you and be like, see, you're the crazy one. You're the abusive one. when in reality, they're the one that has created that. Narcissists create chaos. Narcissists, they also sustain chaos. It's not just enough to make it be a hellhole. They're going to keep it that way. They're going to keep the flames going to make it an awful place. And as they sustain that chaos, they'll use it oftentimes to keep you in the situation. Maybe they use triangulation or pitting you against another person to make you stay, to isolate you from your friends and family. Well, I really wasn't happy with what they said. Like, can you believe they said this about you? Like, oh, I heard this. Your friends just seem off. I don't really want them around us. So I feel uncomfortable. And they start to slowly isolate you to the place that you don't have those people. And as a result, you're under their power, their control, and they're sustaining that chaos. Sometimes they're sustaining it by future faking, by saying, hey, I'm going to change, I'm going to get better, when in reality, they have no idea of what they're doing and no idea that they even want to. They don't. All they do is they say that to keep you in the relationship. A lot of times they want to continue the relationship so that they have someone that they can be empowered over. I'm in control of you. You're subservient to me. Therefore, why would I leave? Yes, I'm saying I'm unhappy and it's keeping you under control. I'm saying unhappy and it's keeping you to the side so I can go do what I want. Narcissists create chaos, they sustain chaos, and narcissists thrive in chaos. When you think of chaos, a lot of times I think of an idea of a tornado. And a tornado that's spinning round and round and round, inside the middle of the tornado, it's relatively calm. The eye of the storm, a lot of times they say, with tornadoes or hurricanes, where it actually feels completely different. That's where the narcissist is hanging out. You see, the narcissist is the tornado that's ripping through your life, your relationship, your family, and causing a lot of chaos and destruction all around them. But for them sitting inside, they're the ones causing it. So it's not really affecting them the same way that it affects you. A lot of times they operate this way in the middle of all the chaos, and they enjoy it because as they look at all the chaos that's happening, they're thinking, I'm in power, I'm in control, and I'm causing it. Why would I leave something that I have ultimate power and control over? That goes back to like the God complex, the entitlement. They put them in this situation. They act like this, and all of a sudden you're like, why won't you leave? Because it's so chaotic. And the narcissist is like, I know, because I'm the one making it chaotic. Narcissists create chaos. They sustain chaos, and they thrive in chaos. The crazy part is when there is no chaos, what happens? The chaos comes back. Okay, because when there's no chaos actually happening, you'll see a narcissist turn around and burn everything down. Like, hey, the relationship seems fine. Let's find something to blow up about. Hey, the relationship seems great. Let's go ahead and have a tantrum. Because that is what happens there's an aspect of boredom. There's an aspect of don't know what to do right now. There's an aspect of conquering spirit of let's create a chaos and a problem so I can do this. Let me achieve this. There's a lot of crazy things going on here. But when there is no chaos, a lot of times they revert to just boredom and oh, well, we might as well do something to implode and to cause chaos so I can be back in the middle of being in control. You see, for me, going through becoming self-aware and starting to learn more and more about narcissism, there was an aspect that my life turned from being completely chaotic to slowly losing a lot of the chaos. And even survivors, when they get out of a relationship, the chaos and the peace afterwards seems really, really unnerving. For me, it was like a high. It was like coming off of a high of okay, now what? I've got to do something. I've got to be in power. I've got to be in control somehow. And I'm not able to do that because I'm not causing chaos by my toxicity. I'm actually stepping back and not causing it. It seemed like I was freaking out because I was I don't know what I'm supposed to do. The peace seems really unnerving when you're addicted to chaos and when you're addicted to that adrenaline rush or that adrenaline high. See, I want you to understand and make sure you hear it loud and clear with the chaos piece that narcissists stay in your life to create, to sustain, and to thrive in chaos, to keep a high from power and control over you. Because if they're left with that peace, typically they'll find a way to be able to implode or burn it down. This is one of the hardest things that I struggle with, among many other things, of dealing with the peace afterwards and actually being able to take a step back and be like, hey, I don't need to cause chaos. I don't need to be this way to be able to be sufficient in who I am. Oftentimes, people coming out of a narcissistic relationship, you might be a narcissistic survivor watching this and thinking, like, I'm away from this person, but I crave them. I want to go back because I don't feel the same way. Maybe you start looking them up on social media. Maybe you start pain shopping by trying to find different things that give you that high, that emotional peace. And that right there is the essence of a trauma bond. You've got pieces of you that's still stuck to that other person that you need to start taking back control of your own life, rewiring your mindset with the story that you're telling yourself, and heal, grow, change, and develop. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not hopeless. Reach out for help.